Right now, while you're reading this, there's a voice in your head reading along with you. You can hear it, word by word, in your own voice. Now stop reading. Try to think without that voice. You can't. You don't know how. But 20% of people on this planet have never heard that voice. Not even once. Not because something is broken, because something extra was added to you. And once you find out what it is, you can't unknow it. Try this right now. Read this sentence without the voice in your head saying it. You can't. The voice said it before you finished thinking about it. Now try this. Think about the word pizza. You heard it, inside your skull, in your own voice, not from your ears, from nowhere. There is no air moving, there is no sound, but you heard it. Now try to think about pizza without the word. Just the idea, the image, the smell. Some of you can do this easily. You don't need words to think. You think in pictures and feelings. The rest of you tried and couldn't. The word came first. The word always comes first. You are not the same kind of mind. And until 2024, no one had a name for what divides you. A psychologist named Russell Hurlburt has been studying this for 50 years at the University of Nevada. In the 1970s, he invented something simple. He gave people beepers. Random times during the day, the beeper would go off. The person had to write down exactly what they were experiencing in their head at that exact second, not what they thought they experienced. What was actually there? He called it descriptive experience sampling, and the results broke a lot of assumptions. He found that, on average, people experienced inner speech only 26% of the time. Most of life, the voice isn't talking. Most of life, there's something else inside your head, images, feelings, wordless thinking. But the average hides the real shock. The range between people was 0 to 100%. Some people had inner speech in 75% of their samples. They were talking to themselves almost constantly. And some people never had it, not in a single beep, not in a year of sampling. When you ask your friend, do you have a voice in your head right now? 1 out of every 4 will say no, and they won't be lying. In May 2024, 2 researchers published something that changed the conversation. Johanna Nedergaard at the University of Copenhagen and Gary Lupien at the University of Wisconsin published a study in the journal Psychological Science. They gathered 93 adults, 46 who reported almost no inner voice, 47 who had constant inner speech. They gave them tasks, verbal memory tasks, rhyme judgment tasks, standard cognitive science tests. The people without inner speech performed measurably worse. Not because they were less smart, but because their brain was solving problems differently, without the assistance of words. The researchers gave the condition a name, Anendophasia, the absence of inner speech. This is the first peer-reviewed paper that confirms something most people didn't know was possible, that you can be a fully functional, intelligent, conscious adult and have a silent mind. If you don't have the voice, you're not broken. You have a different operating system. If you have the voice, the obvious question is, where did it come from? Because if some people don't have it, then it's not automatic. It's not part of being human. It was installed. In the 1930s, a Soviet psychologist named Lev Vygotsky was watching children. He noticed something everyone else had ignored. Small kids, 2 or 3 years old, talk to themselves out loud constantly. They narrate what they're doing. They argue with themselves. They give themselves instructions. Most psychologists at the time thought this was meaningless babble. Vygotsky thought it was the most important thing happening in the child's mind. He watched the same kids over years. The talking out loud got quieter. By age 4 or 5, it became whispering. By 6, it was muttering. By 7, it disappeared completely. But it didn't actually disappear. It went underground. Vygotsky's theory was this. The voice you hear in your head is the voice you used to use out loud as a child, and before that, it wasn't your voice at all. It was the voice of your parents. A child first hears language from outside. A mother says, "Be careful." A father says, "Good job." A teacher says, "You're not trying hard enough." The child repeats these out loud to themselves while they play. Then they whisper them. Then they hear them silently. Your inner voice is not something your brain produced. Your inner voice is a recording of every important person who spoke to you before you were 7 years old. There is a man at Durham University in England named Charles Fernyhough. He runs a research project called Hearing the Voice. He has spent his career on what Vygotsky started. His theory takes the idea further, and it's the dark version. Fernyhough calls it dialogic inner speech. Your inner voice is not one voice, it's a chorus. When you internalize speech, you don't just internalize words, you internalize the people who spoke them, the tone, the judgment, the love, the cruelty, the disappointment, the encouragement. When you replay an argument in the shower, you're not arguing with yourself, you're arguing with the actual person from your memory. When you rehearse what you'll say in a meeting tomorrow, you're not preparing for an abstract conversation. You're preparing for a specific person whose voice you've absorbed. And when you criticize yourself, when that vicious inner voice tells you that you're stupid, that you're worthless, that you'll never be enough, listen carefully. That is not your voice. That is somebody else's voice from a long time ago, repeated so many times that you forgot it wasn't yours. In 2020, Fernyhough's team measured this. They put sensors on people's faces and monitored micro movements in the lips and throat during depressive rumination. The muscles were moving. The brain was literally speaking silently on a loop. Depression is often described as something happening in your head. That's wrong. Depression is often a foreign voice that won't shut off. A voice that was installed during a time when you couldn't fight back. Self-hatred is not self-hatred. It's the echo of someone else's hatred. You just kept playing the recording. This changes everything about how you think about your own mind. You are not arguing with yourself. You are listening to a chorus of voices from your past. Some of them are kind. The voice of a grandmother who told you you were special. The voice of a teacher who told you were smart. Most of them are not. Because most of what we say to children is correction. Don't do that. Stop. You're wrong. Be quiet. Try harder. By the time you turn 10, you have absorbed thousands of hours of correction and a few minutes of praise, and then you grow up, and the chorus keeps playing, and you call it your inner voice. You are not a person fighting their own mind. You are a person who never realized whose minds were inside theirs. Once you understand this, you can do two things that most people never figure out. First, you can name the voices. When the cruel voice starts up, ask whose voice it actually sounds like. Sometimes it's a parent, sometimes it's a teacher, sometimes it's the kid who bullied you in 7th grade. The moment you put a name to it, it loses power. It is no longer you thinking. It is a specific recording of a specific person from a specific time. You can examine it. You can disagree with it. You can let it pass. Second, you can add new voices on purpose. Athletes do this professionally. A boxer who hears his coach in his head between rounds, a surgeon who hears her mentor during a hard operation. They chose those voices. They internalized them on purpose. You can do the same thing. The people you spend time with become voices in your head, whether you want them to or not. Choose carefully. The kindest person in your life right now is going to be one of the voices that argues with you in 20 years. You are not stuck with the chorus you inherited. Right now, as you reach the end of this video, the voice in your head is still going. It's reading these words. It might be agreeing or disagreeing. It might be saying, this is true, or this is nonsense. Listen carefully. Whose voice does it sound like? Is it yours, or is it someone you haven't thought about in a long time? That voice is not you. You are the one who listens. You are the one who decides which voices to keep and which to send away. You are the one who can add new ones. The chorus is not your prison. The chorus is your inheritance, and inheritance can be changed. If you want more videos that unpack the systems quietly running your life, subscribe. There's a lot more buried in being human.